Hey guys, this is my first ever attempt at creating my own video. So you get to have a cool presenter rather than, some old person there that you don't even know on YouTube, right? I'm way cooler. Anyway, you have in front of you a worksheet sent to you in a Google Doc that says Metric Mania. We're going to learn all about the metric system, okay? And in 3 parts, we're going to learn about length, and then we're going to learn about volume, and then about mass. So today's short lesson is on length. So have that worksheet with you open so you can fill it in as you watch this, okay? Alright, so here's the first thing, comparison. English units, which is what we're used to using, the US uses, and metric units, which is the international system, which most of the world uses. So let's compare them. Which is longer, a mile or a kilometer? Circle which one you think it is. A yard or a meter, or an inch versus a centimeter. Which do you think? Got him? I'm watching you in the back, by the way. I can see that you know what you're doing. All right. Which is longer? First one, a mile is longer than a kilometer. A mile, if you run a mile in gym class, that's 4 laps, right? Well, a kilometer is 1,000 meters. If we look up here, right, kilo means 1,000. So 1,000 meters. Now the track is 400 meters for 1 lap. So how long would that be to run 1,000 meters? About 2.5. So a kilometer is only 2.5 laps. A mile would be 4 laps. The mile is longer. A meter is longer than the yard, right? A yardstick's 36 inches. A meter stick's about 3 inches longer. It's about 39 and a half or something like that. Okay, so meter sticks are longer than yardsticks. Okay, next thing, inch or centimeter. Inches are longer. Okay, there's about 2.54 centimeters per inch, right? If you have a ruler and it's got both metrics and English on it, here's the inch, here's the centimeters. 2.54 centimeters. All right? Now those other little lines in there, where'd my cursor go? There it is. Those little lines in there are millimeters. We'll talk about those in a minute. But the cool thing about metrics, it's always based on 10. So if I said, hey, how many millimeters in a centimeter? You could always guess 10, and you'd be right. Okay? All right, let's go on. All right, the basic unit of length in the metric system is the meter. And whenever you write it as an abbreviation, right there, lowercase m, right? The distance traveled by light in a vacuum is a meter if you break it down into little parts. Okay, so that would be 1, and that's a really huge number per second, in a second. All right? Okay. Metric units, 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters, right? Remember we said kilo means 1,000, just like when we were doing insects in scientific naming, we broke those words apart. Kilo means 1,000, right? So 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. 1 meter is 100 centimeters. How many years in a century? 100, right? You knew that. Centa is century, that means 100. So 1 meter is 100 centimeters. And milla, a millennium, is 1,000 years, right? Milla means 1,000, so 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters. These are all equal, 100 centimeters and 1,000 millimeters. Okay? So, answer these 4 questions down here, A, B, C, and D. Which one is larger? Use this stuff up here, see if you can figure it out. I'll just wait. Actually, pause the video. I've got something to do. No, just go ahead and pause. Pause the video. Great. Are you back? All right. So, which is larger, a meter or 105 centimeters? Did you check it out up here? We know what this is right here. You should then see that 105 centimeters is longer. Okay? B, 4 kilometers or 4,400 meters? 4,000 meters or 4,400 meters. There you go. Okay, 1 kilometer is 1,000. 4 would be 4,000 meters. 4,400 is longer. Here's the tricky one. 12 centimeters or 102 millimeters. Do you remember what I said about how many millimeters in a centimeter? Answer is always 10, right? So if there's 10 times 12 is 120, or 102. That gives us the right answer, 12. Right? In D, 1,200 millimeters or 1,000. You guys got this now. 1,200. Pause here and raise your hand if you don't understand that. I'll come help you. All right, so measuring length. How many millimeters in 1 centimeter? We just learned that. You guys know, 10. 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter, right? A little longer line, that's 5. You can always measure those out. They're really clear. Much easier than the quarters and halves and eighths and sixteenths that you might use in tech or on a regular ruler. Okay, so here's some other questions. Try these out. Okay, do these next 3 questions. Again, pause the video right now. Just pause it for a minute while you figure out what's the length of this line in centimeters, in millimeters, okay, and then down here, what's the length of the line to the nearest centimeter? Pause the video and answer those. Okay, hey, you had a chance to answer them. Let's check it out. I'm going to escape this and go over to my cool little doodler here. Move it up so it's in the right spot. All right, so what's the length of the line in centimeters? Isn't that cool? I write worse on this than I do in regular. Okay, so that means, what is it? There's 2 over here, right? And then there's 5 and a little bit more. So that is 2.8 centimeters. Okay, cm, centimeter, that's the abbreviation, 2.8. Okay, and then on here, what is it in millimeters? Well, there's 10, right? So that's 28 millimeters. Okay, raise your hand if you don't understand that. 2.8. Then the last question. What is the length of the line to the nearest centimeter? Well, if we're going to the nearest, right, that answer would be 3. Get all those filled in. Let me know if you need help. Awesome. Thanks for being part of my very first video.